Hello, in this example, we will implement a mini lab that using the switch multiple selection statement. And we will calculate a class average of a set of numeric grades entered by the user. And we will use a switch statement to determine whether each grade is the equivalent of a letter grade. And we will also display a summary of the number of students who receive each grade. So let's begin. First, let's create a new Java class. That is, we give it a name, letter grades. Okay. And then let's move our cursor to the end of the first line and press enter to create a new line. After that, we can input the PSVM to create our main method. Within the main method, okay, let's declare the total, int total, which we initialize it to be 0. This is the sum of the grades. And let's also declare a variable for the number of grades entered. So that is a grade counter. And we also initialize it to be 0. And let's also declare the letter grade counter, which stands for A counter, and initialize to be 0. So in this case, we will have several more letter grade counters. So let's copy, paste ABC, E, no EF, A, B, C, D, F. Okay, awesome. And then we should declare a scanner, right? Because we are going to using the user input as the student's grade. So scanner input, import the class. New scanner system.in. Now, I think in this stage, you are pretty familiar with those statements, right? And then let's write a system prompt. So S, and we are going to display a report of specific format. Let's say a percentage as a new line, sentence, new line, and after that, sentence, a new line, and a sentence, a new line. So we'll have to pass several things to it. So let's create a new line. For the first string here, for this string, let's input, like enter the integer grades in the range 0 to 100. And for the second string here, let's say type the end of file indicator to terminate input. Usually, for the Linux or Mac systems, you should, okay, we can write for Mac users. Please press Control plus D, right? And for, I'm not sure, but you can change. You can search and change the prompt by yourself for those Mac users. For Windows user, I think it's supposed to be Control D. To terminate the input. So in this case, we do not need to declare a size variable to calculate the total size for this class, right? So after that, we can using a while loop. It will loop until the user enters the end of the file indicator, which is the Control plus D or the Control plus D. So while, and the Boolean expression is that input dot has next. That means it will has the next input. If we press the Control D or Control D, that means, okay, we are going to terminate the input and the while loop will be break. So let's write a curly brackets. Okay, within the while loop body, let's see. So first let's read the grade from the user input, right? Great. Okay, this time I will only using the integer. I will not using the double in case I made any further mistakes that will making the video too long. Input dot next in. Once we read the user input and assign it for the grades, and we should aggregate it to the total, right? And then the grade counter should also increment it by 1. Grade counter. Let's see. Since we have the grades now, and then we are going to calculate how many A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So here we will using a switch statement. Switch, like for example, grade. For example, for those 90s, right, or above 90s, or above 10. So the interval is usually 10 because like 90, 80, 70 something. So that means we can use an arithmetic operation, which is divide by 10, to take the magnificent bit for the grade and compare it to the ABCD. Here, let's write a curly brackets to indicate the switch body. So once this grade, or we say this number, the grade divided by 10, we got the magnificent bit, right? Is the case like 9. That means these students got 90 above, right? So we do nothing because for those 90s, it is I mean, for the 10, it is usually cannot be, it can be 10 because if the students got 100, it is 10 and it's supposed to be A, right? We don't do nothing. We do nothing. And for the case 9, we should increase the A counter and break. Here we should know that if the grade minus divide by 10 fall into this category, which is 10, and it doesn't have any following statement, and then it will go to the case 9 and following the A counter incremental and then break. However, if it is case 8, right? So that would be B counter, right? Because that means the grade is above 80 while below 90. So it's supposed to be letter B. So we can follow the same logic to write our code. That is C. That is D. So if it doesn't match to the case 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, that means okay, the student has been failed. So it will fall back to the default scenario that F counter will increase by 1, right? And then we break the switch statement. And that's the end of the switch statement. Once we end of categorize the grade, then let's write the grade report. So grade report. Let's create a new line. Printf here. Don't forget. And then we should using if statement to print out the grades. For example, like if the grade counter is not equal to 0, that means that we input something like at least there is one student. Otherwise, okay, we can write the else statement first. We say no grades entered. So if there is at least one grade, so let's first print something. The total of the how many grades, right? Here is supposed to be the grade counter. And then let's decide total of the, for example, 7 grades is, and then we will using percentage D, percentage N, right? Grade counter, and then total. It indicates there's some error here. Grade counter, total. Oh, print line here. So we should modify it as F. And here we print out how many students there and the total grades for those students. And next, let's print the class average. Percentage, that's supposed to be a double number, right? Two. We keep 2 digits. Have we calculated the average? Okay, we don't even have an average, right? So let's do it here. Double average is equal to total divided by the grade counters. So that is average. And we still have to print out how many A, B, C, Ds in this class. So F and double quote. Let's say, well, that would be this is for letter grade, a new line. Let me see. How can I so maybe I should like number of student, number of students who receive each grade. Okay. This is a new line. We don't need to format it. And within, after the prompt, we should print out sort F. All right, and here we are going to write something A and the number of A's, okay? And that is a problem of the formatting. A, we should include a new line. So this is for A, B, C, D, F, right? And let's say the first string is supposed to be A with a comma or with a column and A counter, right? So B, C, D, F. B, C, D, F, A, B. What happened? C, D, F counter. Okay, and let's remove the and comma. And font to expect 1. So let's take a look here. Oh, there is a problem. I used to percentage symbol and double. Okay, let's give it a conversion. Okay, awesome. And we removed all the errors and warnings. So let's run our code. It is, as you can see here, please enter the grades in the range 0 to 100. And this is corresponding to this line, these lines of the code. After that, we will get the input, right, from the scanner. So let's say our first grade is, let's only take 10, okay? So let's try from the simple examples. 10, 20, okay, it's still failing. 60, okay, as you can see, C increased by 1, right? And 80 is 90. Okay, how about 100? Okay, A increased by 2. So that means each time I enter a student's grade, and the report will upgrade once. And I'm thinking that if I can remove it. Okay, let me first stop this program. I want to get the grade report after I finish enter all the grades. So I need to move this part of code outside the while loop. So that is the correct format. Here, as we can see, a switch statement is here, right? This is indentation. If you can see, okay, it is ended here. For the while loop, and the yellow vertical line, okay, it's highlighted here. So after the while loop, we will get our grade report now. So that means the grade report will not print within the while loop. So let's rerun our code. So 10, this is 4, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right? And press Control Z. Okay, it's not working, so Control D. Okay, actually for Windows it's Control D. It is not Control Z. And we will get our grade report once we enter all the students' grades here. And I will update the code here. And the code samples I will send through the Brightspace, or maybe I can put a GitHub repo under this video. I will discuss with the school how can I distribute these codes. But don't be nervous. At least you will get the code. I know it's a little bit long, so you can follow the video from the start to type everything as I type. Rather, you can go to the deliverable and copy and paste. Either ways, you can, make the program run. So that's the end of this program, and I hope you can make the program run successfully. And if you have any problems, just leave a message in the discussion board and I will reply to you at my earliest convenience.